President Biden, live pictures there, visits Germany with the Middle East high on the agenda. So let's bring in Bloomberg's EMEA News Director, Roz Matheson. Roz, what will you be watching out for in the next couple of days?
Well, obviously, we're watching a number of things within the region itself and beyond. And one of the first things is, what does this do for the war inside Gaza? What does it do with the push towards getting those ceasefire talks resumed, those talks around the return of the Israeli hostages? What does it mean also for the fighting that's going on between Israel and Hezbollah, another Iranian proxy group in Lebanon? And that's that widening Middle East conflict that we're seeing in general. On top of that, are we still going to get the Israeli retaliation against Iran for the recent missile strike that Iran did against Israel? So a lot of moving parts there, that it's very unclear where that all heads. You know, does Israel push on with all of those regardless of the death of Sinwar? And beyond that, with the arrival of the US president in Germany today, we're seeing France and the US particularly push heavily for the resumption of ceasefire talks in Gaza, and saying this is a moment to reset. You've weakened Hamas. Sinwar's an example of that. Can we now find a moment to sit down and talk again about that ceasefire and a path forward towards ending the war in Gaza? But equally, is that going to be something that Israel and Hamas are going to entertain? It takes both of them to agree for that to happen, and it's unclear whether either would agree to that. So what you're going to see is Joe Biden in Germany today pushing hard on the Middle East, also pushing hard for continued support on Ukraine, another key reason why he's in the region.
But, Roz, what would it take for the Prime Minister of Israel actually to agree to a ceasefire? This seems like a good opportunity.
Well, it does, and obviously Israel is saying this is a win for them, and it's something that Netanyahu had said was his goal. One of his goals was to actually kill Sinwar as the architect of the October 7 attack on Israel. But more broadly, he has said his goal is to degrade Hamas so it can never again attack Israel. Hamas is still there in Gaza. Israel is still fighting them in Gaza. This is a nebulous sort of group that exists without its leadership, potentially, and have you really weakened it enough to make that point? So is that goal achieved? We saw from Netanyahu yesterday, he says the war will continue. So perhaps they will agree to have those two-track things going. You do have ceasefire talks that resume maybe in Doha, but there's no immediate signal that Israel's going to slow down here.